The distinction between work and home occasionally becomes hazy, despite the fact that live viewers adore witnessing Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos' marital chemistry live. Mark was recently placed in the doghouse by Kelly in front of the studio audience. What then transpired in this case? The dynamic between Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos is something that live fans like. A unique dynamic that most viewers don't frequently witness on daytime talk shows is created when co-anchors are also husband and wife. The live set is entirely distinct from the Today and Good Morning America crews, despite the fact that both have their own cliques and peculiarities. In addition to serving as co-anchors and hosts of the talk show, Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos also return home together at the end of the workday and resume their married life. Viewers adore the distinct dynamic this produces, and many concur that it offers them a competitive advantage over other shows. Often, Mark and Kelly's lines are blurred. The distinction between work and married life occasionally becomes hazy because Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos are co-workers and spouses. This is precisely what occurred during a recent Stump Mark episode on television. The individual who called in lost to Mark, who had the advantage this time. But since many people enjoy it when Mark is truly stumped, this elicited a barrage of jeers from the audience. Following Mark's victory, Kelly Ripa increased the stakes even further based on what transpired next. Naturally, Ripa and Consuelos have never concealed their romantic relationship. They are still unable to keep their hands off of one another after all these years. But after Mark's previous victory, Ripa wasn't going to let him out of this one easily. Live, Mark Consuelos is placed in the doghouse by Kelly Ripa. Kelly Ripa informed Mark Consuelos that the repercussions of his recent victory will extend beyond the show as the entire studio audience jeered and gave him what he deserved. Kelly said the repercussions will also be felt at home and after hours. That's right. That's right. Boo him, audience, shouted Kelly Ripa. Just so you know, Janet, Mark won't be lucky tonight. Therefore, Mark technically lost at home even though he won at work. In recent live scenes, this dynamic, which spectators adore, was once again on full show. The morning started like any other on Live with Kelly and Mark. A studio audience buzzing with caffeine and anticipation, a bright set gleaming under the lights, and two co-hosts, who also happen to be husband and wife, ready to volley jokes, stories, and sometimes the occasional jab. But this particular episode quickly turned into a masterclass in marital comedy when Kelly Ripa, armed with her razor-sharp wit and impeccable timing, officially put her husband, Mark Consuelos, in the doghouse on live television. The spark. The drama, albeit hilarious drama, began during the host chat segment. The day's topic was pet peeves in relationships. The producers had planted it innocently enough, expecting some lighthearted banter about toothpaste caps and laundry piles. What they got instead was Kelly launching a playful but pointed ambush on Mark, and the audience loved every second. Kelly leaned forward in her chair, her mischievous smile signaling trouble. "Mark," she began sweetly, "do you want to tell America what you did last night that guarantees you'll be sleeping in the doghouse for at least a week?" The audience erupted with gasps and laughter. Mark, feigning innocence, raised his hands. Wait, hold on. I don't even know what I did wrong this time. Can we get some context?" Kelly shook her head with dramatic flair. "Oh, you know what you did. Don't play dumb with me." The offense. As the audience leaned in, Kelly delivered the punch. "Ladies and gentlemen, last night, my darling husband ate the last piece of cheesecake in the fridge. My cheesecake. The one I specifically told him I was saving for after work. And do you want to know what his excuse was?" Mark slumped in his chair, already laughing. "I was hungry. What was I supposed to do? Leave it there and let it go bad?" Kelly threw her arms up. "It was cheesecake, not radioactive waste. It wasn't going bad. It was going into my stomach." The audience roared, clapping and cheering for Kelly, as if she had scored a championship win. The doghouse. Mark tried to defend himself, but Kelly was relentless. "Mark Consuelos, you have officially been sentenced to the doghouse. And no, not the cute, cozy kind with a mini bar and Netflix. I mean the cold, sad, husband-only kind. Producers even leaned into the bit by flashing a cartoon graphic of a doghouse on screen with Mark's face photoshopped into the window. The audience howled with laughter, chanting "Doghouse! Doghouse?" Mark, ever the good sport, played along. "Okay, fine. But if I'm in the doghouse, I want visitation rights with the actual dog. At least Chewy likes me." Kelly didn't miss a beat. "Oh no, the dog's on my side. Don't you dare try to recruit him." The escalation. As if Cheesecake Gate weren't enough, Kelly began listing all of Mark's repeat offenses that had earned him frequent flyer miles to the marital doghouse. "Let's see," she said, ticking off her fingers. "There was the time you left wet towels on the bed. The time you forgot our anniversary." Mark quickly cut in. "I was filming out of the country." "Excuse me, no jury in America would accept that excuse," Kelly shot back. "And," she continued, "the time you accidentally texted our son when you meant to text me something, let's say, not rated for daytime television." The audience gasped and then exploded into laughter, while Mark buried his face in his hands. "Why would you bring that up on air?" he groaned, peeking at the crowd through his fingers. Kelly smirked. "Because this is live, darling, and live means no takebacks." Audience participation. To make things even juicier, Kelly invited the audience to weigh in. "Raise your hand if you think eating the last piece of cheesecake deserves the doghouse," she asked. Almost every hand shot up, with some fans even booing Mark in jest. Mark turned to the crowd, pleading his case. "Come on, people. Haven't you ever been hungry at midnight? Haven't you ever looked at cheesecake and thought, this is destiny?" One woman shouted from the back, "Not if it's your wife's." Kelly pointed triumphantly. "See? Justice has been served." Celebrity witnesses. Things escalated even further when the first guest of the day, a well-known actor, walked out and immediately sided with Kelly. "Sorry, Mark," the actor said as he sat down. "I've been married for 15 years, and rule number 1 is, you never touch your wife's dessert. That's survival 101. The studio audience cheered louder, and Mark dramatically placed his head on the desk in defeat. Kelly leaned over to pat his back. "Don't worry, honey. The doghouse builds character. And maybe next time, you'll think twice before stealing from me." The redemption. Toward the end of the show, Mark attempted to redeem himself. "You know what?" he said. "I'm going to make it up to you. Tonight, I'll take you out for cheesecake. Any flavor, any size, unlimited slices." Kelly tilted her head, pretending to consider. Tempting. But does that mean I can also order wine, an appetizer, and dessert number 2? Mark nodded eagerly. Yes, whatever you want. Just please, let me out of the doghouse before Friday." Kelly grinned. "We'll see. Maybe I'll keep you in there just long enough for ratings." Social media storm. By the time the show wrapped, social media was ablaze. Clips of the cheesecake fight trended with hashtags like #DoghouseMark and #CheesecakeGate. Memes of Mark's face in the cartoon doghouse graphics spread like wildfire, with captions such as, "When you eat the last slice and regret it instantly, and justice for Kelly's cheesecake." Fans weighed in on Instagram polls run by the show. 82% agreed Mark deserved the doghouse. 12% said Kelly should forgive him immediately. 6% joked that Kelly should get a lifetime cheesecake supply delivered to the studio. Closing note. As the cameras faded out, Kelly delivered the final word. "Let this be a lesson, America. If you love your spouse, if you value your freedom, and if you don't want to end up in a televised doghouse, never, ever eat the last piece of cheesecake, unless you're prepared to share the story with millions of viewers the next morning." Mark laughed, kissing Kelly's hand as the credits rolled. For the record, he whispered into his mic, "I regret nothing. That cheesecake was worth it." The audience roared, and once again, Live with Kelly and Mark proved that the couple's real-life antics are every bit as entertaining as anything scripted.